The Answer Man. Would you like to know how thick the Earth's crust is? Or, who was Adam's wife before Eve? Would you like to know the answers to many other interesting questions? The Answer Man will tell you. And here he is to answer your questions, the Answer Man.
Hello, everyone. And may we have the questions?
Certainly. Let's begin with this one from a Pittsfield, Massachusetts listener. How do Eskimo women make stiff deerskin leather into such nice, soft moccasins?
Why, just by chewing on the leather for 2 or 3 days.
And a Coolidge, Arizona listener asks, just what is the thickness of the Earth's crust?
Generally speaking, the Earth's crust, which is mostly solid crystalline rock, is 30 to 60 miles thick.
And a listener living in Pendleton, Oregon writes, does or does not the female hornbill bird of the Pacific sit on the nest after she lays her eggs?
She does. She has to. For just before the female hornbill lays her eggs, the male hornbill walls her into the nest with mud so that she can't get out. But he does leave a small hole through which he regularly gives her food until the young hornbills are hatched.
Next, a Corning, New York sports fan asks, has an end on a football team or any backfield player ever been elected All-American who did not score a touchdown during his college career?
Yes, it's happened. It's very unusual for such a thing to happen, of course. But Jim Larson, who was an end and captain of the 1924 Stanford Rose Bowl team and an All-American that year, scored not a single touchdown throughout his entire college football career.
Here's a question from a Yanceyville, North Carolina woman. Did the custom of boys and girls bundling originate in New England?
No, the old courting custom of bundling came to America from Holland, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and other North European countries. Young unmarried couples there, as here in early America, had nowhere they could go out for an evening, and so, except in the girl's home, and then there was no place that was warm or that would give them privacy away from the girl's family. And so they bundled up in coats and blankets and spent the evening in her bedroom. For propriety, however, many old beds had a centerboard running down the middle, and most girls' doors had a peephole so Mama or Papa could keep an eye on what was going on, which is more than they can do today with the kids going out for the evening in the family car.
Before the next question, here's a special message.
And one with good news for all of you who take vitamins. For it's a way you can get the best government standard vitamins at half price, or even less.
Yes, just let us send you a free Hudson catalog, and then compare the prices. Now, the average cost of 100 25,000-unit vitamin A capsules is $4.10. But you can get the same government standard vitamins from Hudson for only $1. That's right, you save $3.10. A high-potency formula that generally sells for $9.45 per 100 is only $3.50 at Hudson. That's a saving of $5.95. Yes, Hudson means it when they say you can save 50% and more at Hudson. So start saving today. Write for your free catalog of Hudson vitamins and food supplements. Just put your name and address on a postcard and send it to The Answer Man, Mutual Broadcasting System, New York 18.
There's no obligation to buy anything. No salesman will call on you or telephone. But compare the prices, and you'll see why for 25 years, doctors, nurses, and thousands of others have bought their vitamins from Hudson.
So get your free catalog. Just send your name and address to The Answer Man, Mutual Broadcasting System, New York 18. Next, a Woodcliff, Georgia movie fan inquires, what's the length of film used for the average feature motion picture?
About 1.5 miles.
And a Zurich, Montana listener asks, can you train a chimpanzee to eat at a table with human beings?
Oh, yes, and he'll enjoy it. However, the chimpanzee just can't learn the niceties of etiquette. You can never tell when he'll get it into his head to put his feet on the table.
Here's a question from a youngster living in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Did the American Indians have a god of magic?
Yes, Papakiwis. This Indian god was supposed to be quite a mischievous magician who was chased from Earth by Hiawatha. During the chase, Papakiwis went through a series of transformations, finally changing himself into an eagle. Then he found he liked being an eagle, and he stayed an eagle ever after.
Next, a Stone City, Iowa listener asks, is the horse the main beast of burden all over the world?
No, in the deserts of North Africa and southwestern Asia, the main beast of burden is the camel. and the dog is a beast of burden in countries where larger animals cannot be caught and domesticated. In the Arctic, the main working animal is the reindeer, and in the mountainous countries of western South America, it's the alpaca and the llama, while in the warmer countries of the Far East, it's the water buffalo.
Next, a woman writes from Fairchild, Wisconsin, to ask, how does that old nursery rhyme go about washing on every day of the week?
They that wash on Monday have all the week to dry. They that wash on Tuesday are not so much awry. They that wash on Wednesday are not so much to blame, but they that wash on Thursday wash for shame. They that wash on Friday wash in need, and they that wash on Saturday...
Before the next question, a reminder to get your free Hudson Vitamin Catalog today. A free catalog that shows you how you can save 50% and more on vitamins and food supplements.
The quality of Hudson vitamins is standardized by U.S. government regulations. There are none better. Just check them with your doctor. And all Hudson products are sold with a money-back guarantee.
So get your free Hudson Catalog. Just put your name and address on a postcard and send it to the Answer Man, Mutual Broadcasting System, New York 18. That's name and address on a postcard to the Answer Man, Mutual Broadcasting System, New York 18. Next, a Camden, New Jersey man asks, if I could look at a whole dime under one of those high-powered electron microscopes, how big would the dime seem to be?
The dime would appear to be 2 miles in diameter.
And an Idaho Falls, Idaho listener inquires, do you need a license to grow poppies?
No, you need no license to grow them, although if you grow large quantities, the police may become curious.
A note from a Boulder, Colorado listener reads, how do people reconcile the story of the creation of mankind in Genesis 1, which says that man and woman were created simultaneously, with the story of Genesis 2, which says that Eve was created out of Adam's rib?
Well, the easiest way to reconcile them is to accept as true the ancient legend among the Israelites that Adam had another wife named Lilith before the creation of Eve. Lilith could then be the wife created at the same time as Adam. But this legend states that Lilith refused to submit to Adam, and she left paradise for a region of the air. And then Eve was created. Lilith, it said, still haunts the night as a specter, and she's very hostile to newborn infants.
Here's a note from a Triangle, Virginia boy that reads, elephants are very useful on rubber plantations, aren't they?
Well, the tame elephants are. However, a great deal of damage is caused on the rubber plantations of Malaya by wild elephants, who destroy young rubber trees by pulling them up by the roots.
This question comes from a Raymond City, West Virginia man. Have you ever heard of such a thing as fireball lightning?
Yes, it's a rare form of concentrated lightning that looks just like a large ball of fire. Though we don't know exactly why, fireballs are usually attracted towards closed spaces, such as houses, which they enter through open windows or doors, sometimes even through small cracks. Then, after circling around the room several times, hissing all the while, the fireball leaves, usually exploding violently as soon as it gets outside, leaving behind the smell of ozone. Fireball lightning is not dangerous to human beings, even when it appears in the middle of a group of them. It seems to want to avoid people, for which those who have observed this phenomenon close to are inclined to give thanks.
Before the next question, a special message. Do you want your child to earn a good living when grown up? Wait, that's not as foolish a question as it seems, because it's a fact that people with good educations earn more money and have a better chance for promotions. Let's make sure that our children get the education they deserve. You see, America's population has grown so fast in the last few years that the schools have had a hard time keeping up. Classrooms are seriously overcrowded, there's a tremendous shortage of teachers, and the population keeps increasing all the time. This isn't a hopeless situation, of course. There's plenty that you or your neighbors can do about it. For instance, join your neighborhood group working for better schools. Help make sure that your neighbors know exactly what local school needs are and what might be done to meet those needs. Remember this: better schools start with the personal interest of people like you. This message is brought to you as a public service. Next day, Cheyenne, Wyoming youngster inquires, is Robert E. Lee's face really carved on the back of the head of our 16th President Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Memorial?
Oh, no, definitely not.
And a Tacoma, Washington listener writes, I know we have solved the mystery of where the Atlantic eel spawns, but where do the Pacific eels spawn?
Nobody knows. Indeed, most of the life story of the Pacific eel is an absolute, complete mystery.
Next day, Baltimore, Maryland man inquires, are there any estimates as to what the population of the world will be in 50 years from now?
Yes, it's been estimated that in another 50 years we'll have added another 1 billion people to the world's population.
And a Carson City, Nevada student wants to know which signer of the Declaration of Independence later went to jail.
Robert Morris, who was also a member of the Continental Congress, superintendent of finance during the Revolutionary War, and United States Senator after the war. Although Morris was a wealthy man before and during the Revolution, he gradually disposed of his large mercantile establishments and banking interests to purchase extensive tracts of western land. But the western land developed so slowly that he was finally driven into bankruptcy in 1798. And so, for 3 years, Robert Morris, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, was confined in a debtor's prison.
Next day, Clearwater, Florida man asks, what is the legendary reason that dogwood trees grow small and crooked?
The legend is that wood from the dogwood tree was used to make the cross upon which Christ was crucified. But the tree felt such sorrow over being used for this purpose that before he died, Christ promised the dogwood it should never again grow large and straight enough to be used for a cross. And ever after, the dogwood tree has been small and stunted with gnarled branches, as promised by Christ on the cross.
Before the next question, a special message. Are you thinking about your future these days? Well, the United States Coast Guard offers a variety of programs to fill the need of every young man considering military service. For the young man or the veteran considering a career, there is the regular Coast Guard. Here he can find training in the field of his choice, good pay in a job not subject to the ups and downs of economic life, allowances and benefits that mean security, and the prospect of a dignified and satisfactory retirement. The Coast Guard is a small service where men are men and not merely service numbers. Opportunity is for everyone in a military service of long history and tradition, a service that combines material benefits with travel, adventure, and excitement in a lifetime of action in promoting respect for our laws and saving life and property on land, sea, and air. A career in the Coast Guard is a career of service and honor. See your local Coast Guard recruiter. This message is brought to you as a public service. Next, a New York City boy asks, do the Russians like to eat watermelons?
They do indeed. And so they grow a lot of them in their south.
And a Macon, Georgia listener inquires, how, according to the superstition, did human beings once change themselves into werewolves?
They rubbed a magic salve on themselves, and then they put on a girdle of wolfskin.
A letter from a New Orleans man reads, I wonder if you could dig up for me that verse by John Bangs I knew some 20 years ago, in which he said he'd never be old until he stopped noticing all the good things about him.
With pleasure. The verse goes, I'll not be old until that day comes by, when I shall fail to feel the fresh surprise that all the splendors of the morning sky reveal unto my soul through waking eyes. I'll not be old until I cease to hear the music and the whispers of the breeze, and listen with a dull, unheeding ear to nature's so abundant harmonies. I'll not be old until the soul of me ceases to joy in faith and hope and truth. For though 100 years my span shall be, with these to guide, I'll always hold to youth.
This is Mutual, the world's largest network.